What's happening, YouTubers? It's your boy CB, and we are back for a huddle watch along with the recruit, my favorite segment on the channel. For today's episode, for you guys that like ball hawks and you guys that like DB play, you have clicked on the right episode. If you clicked on this thinking, I want to see somebody who makes crazy interceptions, this is the right video for you. 2026 DB Trenton Gummer out of Bishop Moore High School in Orlando, Florida, is one of the fastest rising recruits in his class, a multi sport athlete who has had a fantastic 2 years as a starter. Yeah, you heard me right. 2 years as a starter on varsity. In 24 games, he has totaled 10 interceptions. It's just been absolutely balling this spring as well with his 7-on-7 team and coming off an impressive showing at the Rivals camp. But you don't want to hear it from me. You want to hear it from the superstar himself. So without further ado, one of the most daredevilish ball hawks you will see. 2026 DB Trenton Gummer. How's it going, bro?
What's up? How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm doing pretty good down here in Texas, man. Enjoying some cool weather we finally got for a little bit. How's it been for you down there? I know since the season ended, recruiting has been very busy. What's it been like trying to balance all that?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to like do just like with football, track, a lot to like maintain and keep track of. But just keeping myself busy, doing what I can do, doing what I can control, and just keeping busy.
So before we get into some of the exciting recruiting news, especially some of the things that have been happening lately, I want to rewind the clock a little bit. In the intro, I mentioned 24 games on varsity, 10 interceptions so far. You started on varsity as a freshman. For the listeners here, let us know what that was like hitting the ground running. You in there with, 17, 18 year olds that are preparing for college next year, and you're expected because of your style of play to be one on one out there on an island. What was that experience like as a freshman being thrown into the fire?
I mean, obviously it was a difficult experience. Just like obviously it's a lot different type of football going from like before I was just playing like AAU football. It's a big change. People are way older. People are bigger. People are stronger. People are faster. It's a big change that you have to get used to. But I was prepared because my eighth grade year I played with my brother on the high school team, but he started in front of me, so that was just
Ah.
starting as as an eighth grader, just getting to learn from my brother, from the older kids on the team. So then when my time came around, they left, and I was just able to fill that spot, do the best that I can, and obviously it worked pretty well. Got some like good plays from it, and it just helped me grow as a player and just an individual in general.
You feel like there's a bit difference now going into your junior year. When you would look at someone who's a junior, you would probably think, all right, freshman year, probably maybe saw some time. Sophomore year is probably when he got to break out. But you're a bit different. You're approaching this junior year, and for a freshman or sophomore DB, you're somebody they can already rely on because of the amount of game you've seen, the amount of football you've seen. How is that approach different now heading into your junior year versus when you were heading into that first freshman season?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a lot different. Like I just tried my best to do like be a role model on a team, like on the team. Like I feel like people like to ask me a lot of questions, which I like answering because it allows me to show my understanding of the game, understanding of my position, and it feels great knowing that I can help other people with something that feels like I feel like I've known a lot of growing up, and now I'm in this position that I can help others as well as develop my skills myself, and it's just like great getting back onto the like when I can take it back onto the field and make plays.
It's crazy how fast it go from, man, I want to get his gloves to somebody wants your gloves now. It's crazy how fast that happens, right? Because
Yeah,
I would imagine for you, because it's go, go, go. We were talking beforehand, because you run track too. Your off season, there's no breaks. I think this weekend's probably the only like break you've
yeah,
had technically. But it's fun to sometimes stop and look back and go, man, I was him trying to figure out, man, how do I do this? When I'm looking at 3, 4 star. Now you go into a camp knowing that's, that don't mean nothing. This one on one, you know what I, but an incoming freshman is probably looking at you like, Trent, like, what do I if I gotta go against him, now you can tell him, man, that don't mean nothing, bro. Trust me, you just line up. So it's
yeah,
it's cool when I get to see, 2 years in, Now you got to accept that leadership role next year. Somebody's asking you, man, I forgot I'm supposed to line up on this player. Are we switching? You get to be that leader in that locker room.
Yeah, it's a great feeling for sure.
I love that. Love that transition. Also, it's going to help you when you get to the next level too. If you're asked to play early, you can harken back to those. Okay, not only did I have to hit the field early, I also had to prepare others to play early. So I kind of know, maybe until I get the playbook down and all that, I at least know how to go get it. If you could just put me out there, I can
Yeah,
football. So
got the experience for myself.
exactly, and the experience as a leader too.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of recruiting. It looks like every weekend, if you're not at a camp, you've been visiting a school lately. So I'm gonna start with one of the hometown schools, Florida State. You got a chance to get down there recently, visit that campus. What was that like? And how is that from a hometown kid getting to see Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like growing up, watched a lot of Florida State. Always dreamed of being able to like go there and experience it, and just going down there, I got to meet up with with the position coach, Mr. or Kewan Ratliff, and I've known him for a while. So just being able to go see him, see the campus, see the way that the players work, just it was a crazy experience. Just something that you dream of growing up. So it's just I was glad I got to go do it, and I'm excited to hopefully go again soon.
And then staying in that same realm, let's flip to the other side of the rivalry. Battle Miami this year, you were able not just to go down there and compete with your squad, you were able to start building some connections with that staff as well. What was that like, getting to meet some of those coaches at Miami in person and letting them see what you can do with their own two eyes?
Yeah, it was a great experience just going down going all the way down there. Obviously, it's a long trip, but made it worth a while just to get obviously some opportunity on 7 on 7. But to see the coaches and see the campus was also just even better experience because you never know where like what might happen with your recruiting with the way the things go. Like you never know where you'll end up because you can only go to one school. So getting over to go see them, that was a great experience. Another top program and another place that I've been watching since I was a kid. Players that I look up to just went through there, and obviously it was just a great experience for sure.
And also getting to watch how their coaches interact with other recruits, going to FSU, getting to watch a practice. I would imagine that's invaluable too. You get to see, all right, how are they running their DBs? Take a little bit from every place you go. So now we gonna go from South Florida. We going all the way to Pittsburgh now. So we gonna go around the country a little bit for those of y'all watching. Getting that relationship with Pitt, not just expanding beyond Florida. I know a lot of times when we look at South Florida kids or Florida kids in general, there's that, oh, they always stay home. But when you look at a lot of your visits, it does span around the country. You look at Penn State, you look at a school like Pitt. What's that relationship like with that Pitt staff, and how cool was that being down there, getting to see that school in person?
Yeah, Pitt was new for me. I never got to go see them, so just going up there and seeing the way that they do things, it's a lot different from a lot of the schools that like around the area that I've got to visit a lot. So just the way that they do things was crazy. It was nice to see, and they're like they were completely locked in their practices. Or a practice was fun to watch for sure.
And so again, middle of the country here. We're going now. We going into Big Ten country, a school that if you Google him, you'll know they've been pretty hot on you lately, coaching staff raving about the last visit you had there, talking about Penn State, the Nittany Lions up there, a school that is known for smash mouth football, whether that's in the trenches or on defense. What was that visit like, and how's that relationship building with that staff up there?
Yeah, so I originally built my relationship when our area recruiter, Coach Charles Walker, the running back coach, he came down to come visit one of my teammates who they ended up offering. But I got to build my relationship from there, and he learned who I was from there, saw my film, and knew I was a great player. So I knew that I had to get up there, come see them,
I love
and
that.
just see their program. And they were obviously top program in the country. So just to see the energy of their team and visit a few people that I already know because there's some Florida natives, and I used to live in Ohio. So Zane Durant, who was a
Nice.
huge playmaker for their team, and Ethan Grunkemeyer, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the 2023 class, he's there now. So just going up there to see my people that I already know, people who've been successful throughout their life and their football journey. So just that was an amazing experience to see the development that they've had, and to hopefully someday be in their shoes, going to those top schools that I want to be at.
When you do go on these visits, whether it's a practice, an actual spring game, or just a walkthrough, what are some of the things you like to look for other than the relationship that you have with your direct recruiter? What are some of the things you like to look for when you take these visits?
I really like to look at the way that like the DBs like the way that they do things, because like obviously it's going to be very different as you travel throughout the country
Yep.
and see these different schools. But like you said earlier, you can take little things from each school and apply it to your game, because nobody's going to be exactly the same. But if you take these, see what you're good at, know your skill set, and apply it to your game, then you could just become a better player, and like your knowledge just gets better about the game. So that's just my favorite part about what like going on these visits and seeing these schools.
I love that. You go to a visit and it's not even fun. You go to a visit to study, essentially. Like everybody else goes on visits and they're like, all right, TikTok. You're like, all right, pen and paper. What are you guys doing with your defensive backs? I like that. It's a different mindset, but it gives us a little insight into the type of player you are. That
Yes, sir.
that not just business first, but like study first as well. That all right, I know I'm here to see the glitz and the glamour and see the locker room, but I also, if I am going to choose to go here for 3 years, I also need to know just how y'all practice. How do you handle your defensive backs? What kind of drills do you do? Do I agree with anything you guys do out here, other than the fact that I like the uniform? So I like that when you're there, your eyes are open to not just the superficial things, where the superficial things are cool too. It is cool to like how you look in the uniform and the atmosphere, the campus. You're gonna be there for 3 years. So it's not just where you play ball, it's also where you live. So it is cool to get all that. But I like that you look at the micro too. Okay, just how do you handle your defensive backs on a day to day? When they mess up, how do you coach them? What type of coach are you on the field? I like that when you go there, you got your pen and pad out. So before
Yeah.
we get into this film, coming off the rivals camp, when you get to go down there, I knowing you, I know you like these situations when ain't no stars, ain't no nothing. Is you a number and we in line. How much do you enjoy these camps and getting to compete against some of the best talent in the state?
I mean, it was super special for me, because when you can be ranked, you can be a 4 star, 3 star, 5 star. It doesn't matter. Like when you get to these camps, it's just you versus me. I don't care about who you are. I don't care about who's offered you. It doesn't matter to me. So when I just get there, I just like to compete, and competing is what I do best. So just didn't lose a rep there. Had a really good camp, showed out, and showed why I'm a potential recruit in the 2026 class.
Where does that competitive nature come from, bro? Where does that, no matter where it is, we can line it up? Like where
Yeah.
does where does that come from?
Yeah, so yeah, I got an older brother. That's a
Okay,
big
there
key
we go.
factor to it. I don't like losing. So growing up, he used to beat me in a lot of stuff. So just that was a big
Ah,
part of it, and I hated losing so much that I would always compete no matter what we did. So
so
that
that
my
makes
game.
so much sense now. So
Yeah.
beforehand, when y'all heard me say he throws his body around, now it makes sense. It's because you approach football with the still little brother mindset. I need for all the receivers out there that have to deal with you. I want this message to get through. You're not a little brother on the football field anymore. Like that chip, it makes sense though, because when you do watch your film, it is, I don't want to say you take risks, but you take calculated risk. But they're very much they're very much, you can tell, all right, this brother been fighting his whole life. Like it for him, if the ball's in the air, it's just another fight, it's another obstacle. This throwing your body around though to make a play, has that just been something from the time you started playing football where it was, if I gotta give an arm, I'll give an arm. If I gotta give a leg, I'll give a leg to make a play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just want to help the team out in the best way I can, and just that game was a really competitive game. Knew that we had to make plays if we hadn't had a chance of winning, so just had to put myself out there to help our team. So
And playing against one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Florida, Noah Grubbs is widely considered as one of the top. recruits in 2026. How excited do you get as a DB when you look at your schedule and you see, oh, I got a dog pulling up this week? Like, how excited do you get for those matchups?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting just like because there's a level of thought to it. Just like it's not like you're just playing against some dudes like just some random people. You're playing against people who are going like getting recruited by these big schools and that they're gonna have their football careers eventually. So just playing against these people who are just as good as you, and you just get to compete, and it's gonna show on the field no matter what. So it's really exciting, something that I look forward to each week, and especially going to next season. That's what I'm excited for. We got a lot of competition on our schedule, and that's what I'm looking for.
So big receiver here running a fade on you. And I would imagine on paper to him, he's thinking, all right, DB ain't 6'1", smaller corner, but you do really well in these jump ball situations. What do you think is the key for you not being a 6'2", 6'3" corner, but still being able to shut down lengthy receivers when it comes to these jump ball 50-50 situations?
I think the part that contributes to that is like my technique and my positioning. I feel like I'm always in like position to make a play on the ball, and just my technique helps me do that. So I'm always in like a good spot, and no matter whether it's a fade ball, a post route like you're about to see here, or something like that, I'm always able to make a play.
So how much of this, not just your very solid fundamentals, but you ran this route for him. You knew this was coming. You undercut this beautifully. This tells me film study. This tells me from the second they lined up, you were like, if he run this post, it's over.
Yes, sir.
How important has film study been for you developing your skills as a DB?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important to me, and I like to apply it to our defense. So it's like the team that we're playing, I know that they like to throw the ball a lot, and I also know what the weakness is in our defense, and we play a lot of cover fours. So right now, the weakness in our defense is the post route. So always my coaches put me in good position and tell me that post route I need to overplay it. So here, I just knew that they were gonna try to take a shot, make a play, and I just read it pretty good, I would say, and was able to secure a play for my team, which would end up being that was our first round of the playoffs, and we were able to get that win.
What was that run like for you guys last year? Not obviously getting the win in the playoffs, but take us back to that full season. What was that run like for you during your sophomore season?
Uh, it was interesting for sure. We started off the year 0-3, so obviously a lot of people were a little bit demotivated for sure, and it was a rough start, but we turned it around real quick. The coaches helped us do that, and players helped us do that, and like we ended up finishing. We won 9 games in a row and lost the
Let's
bowl.
go.
We lost nine, or we won 9 games in a row and then lost the bowls in the playoffs. But it was we competed. Couldn't have been more happy with the way that we played, and it was just a great season overall.
That having to overcome that adversity, bro. How much do you feel like going through that last year, as difficult as that probably was, because it's not just you, that whole team competitive. Y'all, I know none of y'all were happy after any of that, but having to go through that, overcoming it, then rattling off 9, which showed all y'all had to do was believe in yourselves, and y'all did. How much do you feel like that just is going to make y'all a stronger team going into this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people, like I said, people were demotivated, but we fixed it real quick. Everybody grew as a team. I think a big part of it was that we started to trust each other, and like we instead of just being selfish players and worrying about ourselves, we figured out what we can do for the team that would help us be in a better position to win the game. So we obviously didn't. Nobody likes losing, so we had to figure out what we need to be done to make a far run like we did. And I think that going into next year, it's going to be even more special because now all the kids that were juniors, which we had a lot of last year, are now seniors. They're even better leaders, and the off-season work that we've done to build a better team, to become better players, but to also be a better team and work together even better. So I think that next year is just going to be special for sure.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here because when we watch your highlights, we see a little bit of everything. But as a DB, sometimes the biggest highlight is to have no highlight. It's when they don't throw the ball your way
Yeah.
and you've been chilling. What's more enjoyable for you at the end of the day when you look back at a game? Now, where in both scenarios you picked up a win, but in one game you made a big impactful interception to turn the tide of the game, and in another game, no balls came your way because you shut down that side of the field. What's more enjoyable for you as a DB?
I'd probably say getting an interception because that shows that they thought that they were able to get the best of me. They watched film and thought that I was a weak point in the defense, and I proved them wrong. So that happened week after week. Everybody just kept throwing the ball to me, and that was their biggest mistake because I ended up making the plays that helped win us that game. So that was just it was
I
it was like
love
they
that.
tried they made a mistake for sure.
I love that mindset. I said, what's more enjoyable, the interception or shutting it down? It was like the one where they tried me. That's that the one where they had the audacity to throw the ball over here in the first place.
Yeah.
This here though, because so we see the ball skills, right? And we watch the first half of the film and you see he's a receiver essentially when the ball's in the air. This part of your game too, foot in the ground, attacking, great open field tackle. Do you feel like the physicality of DB on your side goes underrated a little bit because you have the ball skills?
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't notice that I'm really a physical DB, but I mean I love to tackle. I think that's one of the things that I pride myself with a lot is that I'm able to make open field tackles and so like things that not many players can do. It's not easy to do that, so I pride myself in that, and I think that it really helps me out and helps the team out.
Have you always liked the physical side of defense, even earlier when you were playing DB?
Yeah, I think that that's probably one of the most fun things besides just guarding somebody. I think that making tackles that's one of the most fun parts to me. So that's why I play
I
defense.
love that. Because a lot of times when DBs have your ball skills, they get known as he's a finesse guy. He's a cover DB. He's a cover corner. But for you, you're like, now, well, I actually fell in love with hitting people, and then I realized I could take the ball away.
Yeah.
But for you, 24 games. We talked about that at the beginning of this. Starting very early, having to figure it out as a freshman, to now 10 interceptions over 24 games, a veteran now going into next year. But when do you feel like the game started slowing down for you? Because when we do watch you, we watch you undercut that post earlier. We watch you stick your foot in the ground before the receiver made his break to come make that open field tackle. These are you processing mid play faster than plays are being ran. When do you feel like that started happening for you?
I'd say it probably started happening once I started paying more attention to film. Like we get like we our team we watch a lot of film together, and like outside of practice and outside with the team, I like to watch film because really that's where you see what you're about to play against. Like that's you get prepared for the game, like way before the game's even about to begin. So you know what they're gonna do, you know what they like to run. So just that allows you to make plays like that post route. Like I broke on it before he made the break because I know that that's what they like to run a lot of posts. I know the weakness in our defense, so that like those type of plays are like really important for me because it shows that I was ready for it and I was able to capitalize on it.
And famously, last year you were on an island a lot, but not just during the season. And 7-on-7 as well, playing for Gridiron Elite, they have you out there on an island constantly. How much do you feel like those reps and 7-on-7 for Gridiron have helped you evolve this offseason as a DB as we watch you again beautifully undercut a post?
Yeah, I think those reps are really important because 7-on-7, you can't. There's no running the ball, so it's just straight passing all the time. So it really allows you to like develop your skills, become a better player, improve your technique, and it's playing DB is really hard. So being able to constantly practice it at 7-on-7, just it's a different type of football. So when you're able to bring it back to just normal 11-on-11, it slows the game down, allows you to understand the passing game even more and makes it easier because it's not always easy. So, but when you're able to use those reps and translate it to your game in just normal 11-on-11, it definitely helps.
And for you guys, that Gridiron Elite team, very unique situation. So that team started this year, but you guys hit the ground running like the organization had been running for the past 10 years, already bringing home trophies from tournaments. How's that been for those of us on the outside looking in? Tell us what it's been like playing on that Gridiron 7-on-7 team.
Yeah, it's been a great experience for me because there's a lot of these powerhouse teams that build these crazy 7-on-7 teams, but we're not like that. We take the players from our area, the people that we know can play, and we turn them into players. So that's
I
something
love
that's
that.
really, really, really interesting about our team because we don't have all the 4 or 5 stars, but we just take what we got, and we've been working this the 7-on-7 like every tournament we go to, we've been competitive. We've done really, really good, and I think we've won 2 or 3 championships now.
That you have any idea how unique that is? Because again, these are young men that you play against mostly during the season. So
Yeah.
y'all have able to pull that local talent and not just Gridiron didn't just give you guys a platform for the local talent. Y'all have been able to gel quickly. What do you think went into y'all being able to gel so quickly and have such early success?
I think, like you said, it's the competitive nature that we have. Like we're always playing against each other. So like even though sometimes we're not gonna like each other, we're gonna be playing against each other, and we're gonna want to win, want to beat each other so badly. But I think that makes it that much more special because then we're finally able to come together and make the best team that we can, and just and beat people from other cities, other states, and it's just a great experience. That's probably
It's It's very impressive when you
yeah.
look at it. When you look at all right, we're gonna grab everybody from around us, young men. We know who are dogs, but also you have to know when you're going into these tournaments, you're playing against, like you said, these powerhouse teams. That let me go grab him. He's from out of state, but we fly him in to play with us. And you guys have not just held your own, but again, came home with hardware in those tournaments. So I had to bring that up because it's such a unique situation. And it is a group of young men coming together and just being like, all right, us literally us versus the world. And we gonna put on for our actual city. That's so dope. But something you've mentioned a couple times here is your competitive nature and that drive you have. So something I always have to ask recruits, and I cannot let you go before asking you this on those rough days, bro, when you sore, you tired, you had to fly to a 7-on-7 tournament. Now you back. Coach wants you to work out, got a track workout, homework, and school project due. And your body tells you you cannot go no more. What's that why that keeps you moving on those rough days?
I mean, honestly, I would just say that like the reason why I do things is just I just want to prove to myself that I'm better than I want to reach the goals that I want to reach. Like that's my like I have goals set for myself, and I know that there's people who want to do the exact same things that I want to do, and I feel if there's an advantage I can take, another workout I can go to that will help make me a more successful player, more successful person, even when obviously it's difficult to manage all the things I have to do. I think that's just important because you never know who's working, you never know who's trying to beat you out. So I think that that's probably my why.
And that work ethic, that's not just a football work ethic. That work ethic come from home. That's an old school work ethic. But give a shout out to your parents real quick before we get out of here, because that work ethic, I know that didn't start in football. I can guarantee you when they ask you to do anything, it's always been that look, if something got to be done at 3, we expect it to be done at 3. That having a goal and being singularly focused to accomplish that goal, that starts at home. So go ahead, give the parents a shout out real quick.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my parents helped me out a lot. They instilled that in me, made it important for me, and honestly, my brother too. They helped me get things done. They show me how I'm supposed to do things, and I'm trying to stick to that as far as I go. So
What are
yeah.
they like at games? When you balling, you done got 2 picks. What are they like in the stands at games?
Yeah, obviously they're excited for me. They've prepared me for this. They want to see me do the best that I can, but just they're super important in my life, and they allow me to be the person I am because they've they've put me in this position. So I'm thankful for them all the time. I tell them that I'm thankful for them, and I think they know that I'm thankful for them. So I'm glad to have them, and I wouldn't trade them for the world.
I love that. That's how you're able to do that. Everything you're able to do. Have this busy schedule. It you because you know that all right. If it does get too tough, I got that support system at home. That's how you're able to run 100 miles an hour, like 7-on-7 tournament track, football, visit, spring game, come back, extra because it's the extra workouts too. I think people just assume all right, there's no practice because y'all aren't playing football. He got a workout. He got a DB coach. He still works out. But I love that you have that at home. You're still just Trenton, and they gonna hold you accountable, but also push you as well. And you got that support system. So I
Yes,
could
sir.
not let you go here before you acknowledge that as well, because that we talked before we hit record that it's a lot of sacrifices you guys make to be great at this. You know, and I don't think everyone understands how much goes into it, but it is really cool when you do have somebody at home that on those tough days, you can at least vent to, complain if you need to complain for 10 minutes, how tired you are. But then you also know that they're gonna hold you accountable and be like, okay, you done? All right, now the work gotta be done. Like, so
Yes,
I
sir.
like that you gotta have that balance.
Yeah, I think they make more sacrifices than I do. Because listen, as much as I as hard as it is for me to go do an extra workout, or for me to go get right in the classroom, they make more sacrifices than I do. Because it's not easy. They don't have to take me to South Carolina to go participate in the rivals camp. They don't have to take me to Miami to go do 7-on-7, but they do it because they want me to be successful. And I think that they're big contributors for the reason I'm the person I am.
And they believe in you.
Yes, sir.
Never forget that part, that they believe in you. So anytime you feel like you're getting down on yourself, just remember somebody drove me out here because they believe, not from charity, because they believe. Because I guarantee you, if your parents didn't believe, they would sit you down and go, all right, look.
Yes, sir.
So don't forget that too. Don't forget that, as tired as they are too, they're doing it because they genuinely believe in that journey. And I know I speak for everybody in the comment section when I say we also believe as well. We cannot wait to see this junior season. But before that junior season, let them know where they can follow you on Instagram and Twitter, so that when they want to say, "Oh, my school offered Trenton, now I want to," go follow him now, so that when they do offer him, you're like, "Oh yeah, I remember him."
Yes, sir. You can follow me on Instagram at Trenton Gummer too, and you can follow me on Twitter at Trenton Gummer.
Now, after your junior season, we're gonna have you back on so we can watch that. So 5, 10 picks over the past 2 years. What's the goal this year?
I'm trying to break the school record. I want to go for 8. I want to go for 8 interceptions this year. I want to try to get around 20 PBUs and 50 plus tackles.
They might not throw your way as much as last year, so
Yeah.
be ready for that though,
Yes,
because
sir.
they're gonna turn on the film and be like, "All right, who else play DB over there?"
Yes,
But
sir.
but but we're gonna speak it into existence. After you get the 8, we're gonna have you back on so we can watch that junior film. But until then, I wish you nothing but health and success for this junior season, bro. You know I'm rooting for you.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Like, share, and subscribe. Go follow Trenton right now. Do not wait until he blow up and then hit my DMs asking me about him. Go follow him right now. Trust me, you are going to want to watch this junior season. A lot of times they will break their games down from game to game. So if you're looking at his schedule going, oh, he playing so and so this week, I got to see that. I'll link his huddle down in the description so that you guys can keep up with him. Again, go follow bro right now. We out.